It was recognized as culture. Yep. They recognized the culture. They recognized the culture. Blue color is so magnetic. TH3RD. It was recognized as ultra. Care about it. They recognized the culture. How about turn it up? We went from UDMs, searching for the blacks in China, to searching through these back pages for some black China and some black vagina. We went from the UNIA and the black starliners to some black Masons, black Shriners, buying crack for. Whoa, bring that back, bring that back. It's so magnetic. Can y'all hear that? This is off that Red Summer 2020 project we putting together. Yeah. We went from UDMs, searching for the blacks in China, to searching through these back pages for some black China and some black vagina. We went from the UNIA and the black starliners to some black Masons, black Shriners, buying crack from the miners. Went from dapper hair, black designers to some Gucci turtlenecks, black girls. We was moving on up. Sherman Helmsley, bunch of shooters is shooting on up. There's nightmares on Elm Street, computers ain't booting on up. I'm dream chasing through the Jason months. As above, so below. We was adjacent once. Rethink your fears and drink your tears. While you waking up for delinquent years, instinctive years, crack pain, black rage, beanie single backstage, state property, crack cage, hell up in Harlem, the black plagues, blue cage, going through his crack rage, captured, bulletproof zombies, raptured, toothless blondies, carving a piece, ruthless Gandhi, starving for peace, no disguise with the vulture's eyes, most survive, but they culture down. Look at Scarface, blue social eyes. Approach the guys and get posterized. Or dropped in the acid, emulsified. All in the media is socialized. When they see us and they start acting goofy, we smacking goofies, they bad and bougie. I'm a timeless royal, times of turmoil. Phyllis Thomas on Thomas Boyle. Flaxseed oil, black winter boil. Color at the backstreet soil with orange coils. We the lost attraction, I'm the course of action. Does she look like Penny for a good time? I toss a Jackson. Me in the carbon is quantum entangled. I'm dripping in carrots, the sponsors are dangled. If I had to decide to fade to Billy Gates, I say young chop his ass like Philly steak. Should I give birth to a lady killer? I'll drink a desire to Mercedes dealers. A hard pill they soon to swallow. Wherever I go, all these drones, they soon to follow. I resisted the urge and persisted to purge. Protect the hood from the peck of wood and my neck of wood. Delectable Negroes and their neck is good. Protect the wood, protect his wood. 36 chambers, Inspector Deck was good. You hear that shit singing to you, baby? Alright. Yeah. You gotta let it breathe. You gotta let it breathe. You heard? That right there is a world premiere. That's Sherman Hemsley. All right. That is off of the that's off a project that we putting together called Red Summer 2020, the Jason months. You know what I mean? It's a part of Scorpion King. So look out for that. That's gonna be fire right there. We in the lab right now, as a matter of fact. If you could see the DJ setup, you know what I mean? I'm here with the world famous DJ Supreme. Shout out to the fam. All right, the legend. You know, if anybody in the DJ world is watching this, you already know the 1991 World DJ Championship winner who was doing cuts and everything behind his back. This brother right here. So we putting together, you know, we working on his music because it's summertime. The music is what's very important. The music is the culture. The music is the drum. It's the sound. It's the heart. You know, it's the spark. It's the voice. It's you know, it's the whisperer, the God whisperer. It speaks to you, you know. So we're making our thing. So let's do this roll call before we even get into it. All right, let's do this roll call because I see the family is definitely in the building tonight. I want to know who is here. I want to know who's in. If there's DJs out there, if there's program directors out there, if there's artists out there that are watching this, you know, using the using the TJX Method Bible, and you're doing you know, you on the dark web or you on the VPN or whatnot. You don't want nobody to know that you're watching. I'm saying, bro, hey, bruv. And if you're one of the bruvs across the pond, after you spin the Brooklyn drill to pop smoke in the bruvs, you know, you should spin the bruv red pillar and blue pillar in it. You know, the Mondem is on the road, mash up the road, right? All right, so Houston is in the building. Baton Rouge is in the building. NO is in the building. You already know what it is. Remind me, NO, to tell y'all about the article about real vampires that exist in New Orleans. I'm going to show you the article. Louisville, Kentucky, right? Justice for Breonna Taylor. That's right. Louisville, Kentucky, lit forever, right? Remember when we were going out there at the Muhammad Ali Center and we were showing the family, we came back and we were like, look, Kentucky is lit and they have a very rich history, you know, and it's a lot of Moors out there and they're active. When we went out there, the reception was very, very positive, very, you know, very welcoming. So shout out to Louisville, Kentucky. I will be back there. I hope to leave with some red pill bats or something, you know, out of Louisville. But yeah. Yeah, somebody said, look, that Dr. Wesley Muhammad is fire. True Islam coming. You know, yeah, that was a classic episode last night. The Me and Blue Pillar, right? The Me and Blue Pillar, my twin brother. I'm trying to get used to people only knowing red pill and not even knowing I have a twin. I think I might need to get a face tat or something to remind people. But Me and Blue Pillar did the damn thing. Wesley Muhammad came through and dropped some bombs, some facts. He went in, you know, he got me in the lab studying, and that's what's up, because that's what I need. I need to study. Detroit in the building. Yeah. Trey B tapping in. Down Under is in the building. I need to have look, another Lexington, Kentucky. All right. I read a story about Down Under and the fact they were locking down project, and the people were basically under siege. So I need y'all to tap in to that story and give me some updates. The people that are in the Down Under, give me some backstory, give me a narrative on that, so we could, you know, we could build on it. Harlem in the building. Peace to Harlem. I was in Harlem today. Harlem is lit. Harlem is back to Harlem, right? Harlem is also off the chain, and Harlem is extremely dangerous, and Harlem is being overrun with mental health patients. Harlem is a breeding ground for an atrocity that is going to take place before the summer is over, because it's a petri dish of all kind of, you know, it's iniquities times 10, right? I was minding my business today. I went live on top of Mount Morris Park, which is also known as Marcus Garvey Park in Harlem. And if anybody knows anything about the top of the mountaintop at Mount Morris, it's a lot of funny activity that takes place up there, if you know what I mean. So I'm live, right? I'm building with the family, right? And I'm building with the family about what the brother, Dr. Wesley Muhammad, was speaking about, you know, with a certain breed of male, right? Epsilon, right? And lo and behold, on the way off of the mountain, whilst still on live, right? I come around a corner because the way that this, you should Google Mount Morris Park and Marcus Garvey Park, Harlem, right? Let's go visual. Matter of fact, we could do this. We could go to the Googles, share the screen. Okay, let me call it its proper name. Marcus Garvey Park. And out of all of the parks in the world, they got Marcus Garvey Park. Yeah. Okay. As you can see, all right, here you go. This is the watchtower, right? This is where I was at. This is the top of the mountain, right? It overlooks, it has a dope skyline, and you basically are overlooking all of Harlem when you stand on top of it. You dig? But right around this part right here, when I was leaving the event and coming around this corner, after speaking about epsilon males, right around this corner right here, when I bent this corner whilst on live, you know, I saw a grown man, right, who had his pants down, but whilst I'm coming around the corner, he's pulling his pants up with another black man, right, walking, you know, suspiciously behind that man. And I'm like, fire bun. You know what I'm talking about? Fire. You know, and that's the kind of situation that's going on the ground in big city USA, Empire State, you know, the capital, you know, the home of all of this glitz and glamour that people call New York, that you have to pay thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars to be inside them. I'm going to upload the live to my YouTube. You know, it was a very interesting 10 minutes, as a matter of fact. You know what I'm talking about? It was a very interesting 10 minutes. It started with that situation right there. And then it just began to, you know, escalate and turn into things. You know, I ran into Jabari. You feel me? Brother Jabari. I saw the brother right after that. No, even before that, before I saw the brother, while I was walking, you know, I walked through a section where, you know, it was clear to see that these brothers were recovering drug addicts, or maybe even current drug addict users, you know. And I got into a narrative where I was explaining that, you know, when we see society and when we see what we see in society today, we always have to keep in mind of the chemical war that has taken place and the timeline of that warfare. The fact that, you know, the people who are addicted to opiates and heroin in the 60s and the 50s and whatnot, they had you know, they procreated, you know, and they're still, and some of them graduated when the assault of crack cocaine introduced itself at the quote unquote, the scourge of crack cocaine, which is a very deadly chemical warfare component, you know, all jokes aside. So a lot of people who we see in society right now, they've been traumatized as a result of these epochs and eras and periods in time that have been celebrated and not atoned for, not even spoken of in a compassionate, you know, reflective, honest type of way. You know, that weight has not even been lifted. That building that toppled has not, that you know, that hubris, is that how you say it? It hasn't been even touched yet. It's almost like when the towers fell and it just sat there for 16 years and nobody even bothered to move a pebble. So people got to get to that. Let me finish this roll call though, because we need everybody to know who everybody is. And if you hear me shouting out your city twice, take the opportunity to introduce yourself to the family if they're in the building. But I promise you this, if you're a creep or if you violate, because there's standards here, you know what I'm talking about? There's standards here. There's a value system here. You feel me? There's a penalty system, there's a reward system, and there's a value system in place. So it's quality of membership. We value our members. We value our family. So, you know, don't disrespect the values. That's all I'm asking. If you shout out to somebody, don't let this situation, you know what I'm talking about, be the jumping board to you and your nightmares. You know, keep it tall. Hey, baby. So look, Chicago's in the building. I see them checking in. Harlem is in the building, right? Cleveland is in the building. The 704 is in the building. Grenada's in the building. NC is in the building. 504 is in the building. Largo's in the building. Syracuse in the building. PGDC's in the building. Delaware's in the building. VA's in the building. Denver's in the building. 910 NC's in the building. Philly's in the building. Louisville, Kentucky's in the building. Islam. Lexington is in the building. The 757, VA, where my mama born. Annapolis, Maryland is in the building, right? DMV, crank up. 215 is in the building. KTL, ATL, that's where it all, Winston-Salem's in the building. Yay area, Newport News, 281 Texas in the building. Myrtle Beach, SC by way of New York. Look, I need a roll call of everybody from New York that's in the Carolinas, right? I want to do a report on the great migration, the reverse migration back to Geechee Gullah land, because nobody's speaking about that. You know, what brought everybody back to the Carolinas? Was it the women? You know what I'm talking about? What is it? The crawfish? What's going on? Huh? I know it's not the job market, and everybody don't sell drugs. So why is everybody drifting back to the Carolinas? Like Cam Newton and them. Albany, Georgia, Syracuse, Cleveland, Easton, PA. I want y'all to study confederacies. I want y'all to get into the science. I want y'all to get deeper and study the confederacies, right? I want the geniuses that are amongst us, the researchers, the third eye, you know, Thursday, you know, the KT aliens. I need y'all to break down the confederacies, because an article is on my Instagram page that I'm going to share with y'all tonight that is historic in its nature, right? It was a Supreme Court judgment that granted the Indian tribe, right? I believe the Creek Indian tribe, a large portion of East Oklahoma that includes Tulsa. Talk black to me. Yeah, talk about cooking in the spirit realm, right? You understand what I'm saying? So the confederacies were a combination of tribes from different places, like tonight, and they came together to protect friends, family, co-workers, and children, elders, baby mamas, and things of that nature. That's what the Confederacy did. And the Confederacy was extremely resourceful and helpful and hopeful. And they were, they were crisscrossed because they had other confederacies that were either working for the British, the French, or the Spanish. Because you got to remember, when you study the American story or the American mystery, the Amexem, Northwest Amexem mystery, you have to always factor in there was a triple offense from the ops. And it came by way of the Spaniards, St. Augustine, Land of Flowers, the coast of Florida. It came from the England or the Anglos, right? By way of the Liverpool Express coming through to Connecticut and Boston, right? Then you had the French, Louisiana, and all of that. None of them had anything to do with each other. You know what I'm talking about? It wasn't like they was on the same mission together. It wasn't like they got together. It wasn't like they were down with each other, because they were not. They were pulling ops on each other. They were drilling. You understand? They were called trappers back then. They was trap rapping and they were drilling each other. Go and watch the movie Reverend with Leonardo DiCaprio, who happens to be Scorpio of the highest degree. People elect them to the Illuminati. And I'm like, whatever group that accepted this nigga and allows him to get into his dark cell, his Darth Vader, that group is going to benefit, because I could see just by his acting, abilities, I'm talking about, as a fellow Scorpion, I could see, you would rather have that nigga as an ally. You understand? We need to have this conversation one day in private. Can't have it on YouTube. But we need to have this when this round table is formed, when this think tank, when this dark matter think tank is officially formed. Shout out to Dr. Phil Valentine. He's doing a presentation. It's going to be explosive, and I know it's going to be dealing with a lot of the new, I call it the new elders, the young elders. So, yeah, the Django from Mississippi. Shout out to all of my Mississippi family. Go and study the Mississippians. You know what I'm saying? Go and study Mississippian culture. I mentioned that to somebody who was from Mississippi and they didn't even know what that was. I was like, no, the Mississippian culture has nothing to do with the small state of Mississippi that you're in. It was comprised of multitudes of, I'm talking about a whole bunch of states. It's a culture. You dig? It's a culture. And they separating all of these, tribes and whatnot, with giving them these states, these entities, these corporations. But these are the mound builders, right? Is it a coincidence that the armed forces, as well as the NFL, right, recruit from a pool, a genetic pool, right? Not just a genetic pool, a magnetic pool, a geomagnetic pool, right? A geomagnetic pool, because they go into these places that breed and birth and groom and raise giants, mound builders, people of Olmecan strength, right? They call them bucks, right? The NBA, the NCAA, the NFL, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, and other private and public entities recruit exclusively from the states of Texas, right? Mississippian, mound builder culture, Florida, Mississippian, mound builder culture, Louisiana, Mississippian, mound builder culture, Georgia, Mississippian, mound builder culture, Alabama. I mean, is it of any coincidence? You know. And also, let's not speak about the prison population, which coincidentally is in the same alignment of the same states that I just named you. Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Georgia, right? So these bodies are still being sold. These bodies are still being ran through a trauma cycle. These bodies are still being, quote unquote, managed, because they're going to get bread off of you whether you die, get shot, get locked up, you stay home, you become a scammer, you sell drugs. They still have a way where they're plugged into you like a battery completely. Maybe the harder that you go in the trenches, you're doing more for them than you could ever do with any kind of money, working at any agency for them, filing any records for them, sweeping any floor for them, fixing any bugs for them. You know, all of the shit niggas take pride in doing for them, right? But we'll ride when you find out somebody is doing it for us. You know, that's not allowed, not in this epoch. You know, people are not mentally ready to see that, but it's too late because the time is here. That's all. Matter of fact, that's about all you're gonna see in the days coming forward is people who look like me, not like me, a little bit like me, and nothing like me, making a lot of moves, doing a lot of independent, intellectual property content based. There's going to be inventions. There's going to be patents for all kind of new inventions. There's going to be a boom. I'm telling you, we're going to see a boom because there's nowhere else to go but up at this point. There is nowhere else to go but up. So when we go up, we're going up like a boom, like a rocket ship. It's going to happen so fast that you're not even going to be able to hold on. That's what's coming. You dig? That's what's coming. So the times that we're going through, where people are putting out memes and saying, what's next? The aliens? What's next? What disaster? They got a checklist of disasters, right? And for what it's worth, right? Outside of the 100,000 diagnose or misdiagnose, because that's still up for grabs. There are multiple reports from multiple sources that said that those diagnosed coronavirus deaths were not only miscalculations, but those were completely false. So for the people who did not have coronavirus, for the people who did not suffer a loss of a loved one during that time period, and even for the ones who suffered a loss of a loved one during that time period, because many other people were suffering losses of loved ones during all time periods, because guess what's always happening, right? What's always happening is that the cycle of life is always obeying something that man has no real control of, in a sense. You know, people are dying and people are being born, right? You can actually see the numbers in real time, so there's no speculation, so you don't have to ask permission to think about it. You know, you can watch the numbers tick tock and make a TikTok about it, right? Go to Tough Talk Tuesday, right? The earlier episodes, and find an episode where they tell you about the site. It says Easter egg hunt, you know? But yeah. So we're in some very interesting times, and we're about 6 months, 7 in to this year of 2020. And all I want to say for the people, for the family that's out there, the Alchemists, the Third Eye Thursday family, the KT Alien family, the family who supported my Patreon, my patrons, and the families who supported the KTL University classes, and you were able to be in class all the way from January or maybe December. You know, why not, let's say October, when we came back after we came to the UK. We came back and what did I do? Trying to remember what I did. Oh, I did a lecture with Wesley Muhammad, right? I did a lecture in Baltimore with Dr. Wesley Muhammad, and I was going in on hip hop and some other things. And then I gave you Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah, hashtag Year of Fear 2020. Year of Fear 2020. That was in January. And ever since I started that lecture series, I've been giving the family a lot of keys, a lot of premonitions, a lot of prophecies, a lot of sources, a lot of information, a lot of preparation. Because remember, information is what? Preparation, because it prepares you, whereas you would have been ignorant to it if not prepared. So information prepares you for the future, because you won't get caught off balance and off guard by like the masses when they're not prepared for the information when it's presented to them. But if it's presented to you before the public gets it, then when the public gets it, you've been prepared. So your preparation prevents piss poor performance. So when you're prepared properly, you don't go run into the streets. When you're prepared properly, you don't react, you proact. When you're prepared properly, you don't have push button start. Niggas can't push your buttons. You're not push button notification. Your shit is not on. You know what I'm talking about? You push yourself. You're out there pushing wigs back. You're out there pushing a motherfucking narrative. You're out there pushing the line. You're doing the pushing. You get up like Pusha T. You know what I'm talking about? And start going after Aubrey and whatnot. You get on your Pusha T and you're pushing things, right? There's pushers and there's pullers. They go to the gym, they're teaching you about pushing and pulling. Pushing and pulling. There's a push day, right? You get your you get the chest right. You're pushing the weight, right? Then there's a pull day. When you're pulling the weight, push and pull. There's certain people that push energy, and there's certain people that pull energy. You got to get to know your people. You got to get to know your people, right? So the days that we are in, we need to be thanking each other. We need to show more gratitude, right? There's a level of gratitude. Remember, gratitude is a divine act. Everybody can't give gratitude, my niggas. You know what I'm talking about? Gratitude is a key. It's a cheat code if you know how to use it. So if we stay in gratitude, they said phase 2. I said, no, nigga. I said they brought their friends back with them. You talking about phase 2, I'm saying round 2. You know? I'm saying round 2. This is wars on higher principality that's taking place. Yes, it has to have a fucking material, a Malkufian narrative. Yes, it does. And the narrative that it has in Malkuf is so goofy, it's so stupid. You know what I'm talking about? It's so see-through, it's so paper that you know that there's something of a higher realm working this shit. And it's not a boogeyman somewhere. This is spiritual, family. This is, like the minister said, right? He said it. It's divine retribution. He said that this is pestilence. And I'm in these streets and I'm like, God damn it, pestilence needs to come. Pestilence, bring itself on, right? Because I'm not going to clean it up. But the shit needs to get cleaned. The earth is cleaning itself in many ways. Don't just point at the coronavirus and the fact that everybody is being put on this quote unquote mask on. Ricky Dennis, remember the mask? Remember mask with Cher and fucking Sam, what's his name? What's my guy with the mustache? Remember Rocky Dennis? Mask. I remember watching that as a youth on HBO. I shed tears for that nigga, bro. Rocky Dennis. They rocked us with that when we was little. Right? That nigga was the Elephant Man with a leather on. Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott is the prototype for the white Western man. You know what I'm talking about? I remember watching that. They got us with these masks, though. I'm in New York. Everybody's masked up. The program, they're looking at me crazy when I'm walking through with no mask. Fam, they got crackheads hitting the pipe and then putting the mask on, saying, young blood, you might want to put that mask on. I'm like, Pluto.
Well, I got a health condition.
Pluto. Mask off, nigga. Pluto. Like I put a post up, it said that if a fart can make it through your drawers and them tight ass jeans that you niggas be wearing, right? And all the shit you got in your back pocket, bro, then if it can make it through your cheeks, then your fucking drawers and your fucking jeans and manage to clear half the goddamn side of the train, then that goddamn coronavirus is spreading through that fucking mask. How about that? You know what I'm saying? How about you niggas went real fancy with your mask? Niggas are selling copper, they're selling copper wired masks, talking about coronavirus is gonna protect you. They got, these niggas got Yeezy masks with the rips in them, right? Remember how he had the damage, you know how Yeezy got the damaged goods? These niggas is out here wearing ripped masks, talking about It's just a fashion statement. Now it's an accessory. The fucking mask is a belt. It's the new belt. It's the new belt. Get your money, I guess. It's the new belt. You know? They'll be wearing a mask forever. This is The Watchmen, Series 1. Welcome. This is The Watchmen, Series 1, where everyone was wearing a mask. Remember? And it had beef with the cavalry, who was a white supremacist group. Remember? And it took place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Remember? And it featured a black man as God. His name was Calvin. He was Dr. Manhattan in disguise. He had Alzheimer's or amnesia, similar to how Hiram Abiff has amnesia, the black African god who is asleep. Remember? And then at the end of season 1, Angela Abar, who is a black woman, who her character's name was Sister Night, right? She becomes the black god, right? Because a blue god is a black god. She becomes the black blue god, Dr. Manhattan. Henceforth, the most powerful deity. He is the most powerful character. I put everything. I need a quick 2 million. Fuck it. I put 2 million up. Somebody match my 2 million. He is the most powerful superhero in the DC universe. All facts. I could stand on that. I got the research. I got all the facts, right? So if Dr. Manhattan is the most powerful character or the most powerful superhero, eclipsing your favorite Superman, right? By millions of fucking years. I'm talking about he could crush Superman in 5 minutes. The writers at this HBO series decided, whilst in the atmosphere of 2020, whilst in the Jubilee year, right, after the quote-unquote 400 years, the 1619, the 2019 prophecy, right, whilst in the Jubilee year, whilst in 2012, which is in Ethiopia, yeah, we're going to build a whole show, an origin story about a black goddess. A black goddess. Pan, what's her name from 227? What was her name on 227? It's my girl. Regina King, but what was her name on 227? Was it Regina? I know Calvin was her boyfriend, and I know Pearl and all of them was in the window. Sandra, okay, that was one of my first girlfriends. So yeah, Brenda, that's an old woman name, Brenda. So yeah. Sandra Clark. Her name was Sandra Clark. Okay. That was Joe Clark's daughter. So this lady here, right? Oh, Jackie. I had a super crush on Jackie. All facts. You know what I'm saying? All facts. Jackie was on the super, she was on a watch list. You feel me? Jackie was she was that girl, right? Wasn't she? She was the first Cardi B. Okay. So yeah. This is how ill life is set up. Not only is the sister a black goddess in Dr. Manhattan, she's also the voices for Riley on Boondocks. For both of them. Regina King. right? Mad work. You know what I'm talking about? Mad work. You know? Shout out for going in on bats by blowing up. Oh, the bats is blowing up? Hope y'all invested in the bats. She was on Boys in the Hood. She was in Boys in the Hood, right? Was she? That wasn't Trey's girlfriend, right? Cree Summers. What happened to Cree Summers? Cree Summers fell off. She was an enemy of the... Come on, B. She's an enemy of the state. That was a woke movie. That's woke Bible movie. That's woke must-see TV. You know what I'm talking about? That's in the woke watch list. That's in the woke starter pack, nigga. Her fingerprints is in a lot of places. Talk black to me. You know what I'm talking about? She was Poetic Justice. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Let's erect a statue for Regina. Right? Let's erect a statue for Gina. She deserves it. She's put in a lot of work. From 227 days. Yeah, she's from 227 days. All the way back then. That's how profound her record, because I remember being a young, I was young when 227 was popping. I was a young teenager. So that sister's working. Yeah, and she bodied that Watchman role was one of her crowning achievements. She embodied that sister. She lived that. She carried that show, right? The other characters, of course, played their parts, but Regina King as the main character of Watchmen, this is her origin story. She's the star of the show. Coincidentally, the director said he don't want to do a second season because he went on record saying he doesn't have anything to write about. Then he backtracked on it recently when they had a Zoom, right? When he couldn't pussyfoot or he couldn't wiggle his way. So he committed to say he's going to think about it. I think. Don't quote me. But I'm more than sure that there's going to be a season 2 of Watchmen with that black woman going super bonkers as Dr. Manhattan. I just don't think that that European wants to write that world into existence. Remember, he's sitting it out because he knows if Watchmen gets a season 2, oh man, because even in season 1, she was destroying the white supremacists, the 7th Cavalry. She was clapping them up. So he like, shit, I ain't writing a season where she out here stepping on us. That shit might come true. Because they know the power of the pen. Remember, they are strategically placed in positions of power in every single one of these studios with a firewall to block anything that's going into production that's going to fuck with their image, that's going to shake, rattle, and roll their core. They're not trying to green light none of that shit. They blocking all that. They blocking all that. They're like, and you think we're gonna fund it? You think we're gonna get behind it? You think we're gonna put it on our own screens? You think we're gonna give you advertisement space to talk crazy on us? To expose us? Because remember, you gotta be careful. What you think you're exposing, you're just making bigger. What you think you're exposing, you're just making bigger sometimes. You're just giving it exposure. It's a difference between exposed and exposure. Keep that in mind. Word for the day. We're going to do a few of them. Start with that. There's a difference between exposed and exposure. Because you think you're exposing something, and you're just giving it exposure, because what you're trying to expose knows how to flip that shit around, and they'll turn that shit into promotion. And be like, thank you for the motherfucking cosign. You know what I mean? Thank you for saying my name. Let me go. And then the shit gets bigger. So the more niggas talked about the Illuminati, but never put hands, feet, there's no World Star videos, there's no confrontations, no, there's no pulling up in traffic, nobody got on live and got interrupted. Nothing. Not a thing. You know what I'm saying? Not a thing. So they appear like mysterious, untouchable, you know, elite, because niggas love throwing that word around. Like, if you are willing to call somebody an elite, then what does that make you? You can't occupy two spaces at once. If that's the elites, then what the fuck are you? No, that's not the elites, because if that's the elites, why the hell are we reporting on the eating of human beings, the trafficking, the debauchery, the Holocaust of individuals? No, that's not elite, bro. That's not elite. That's discreet demonic shit. It's not elite. That's people that are good at hiding their debauchery, but they're working fervently to make this shit normalized and to put it in and to hide it in plain sight and to be able to just be free with it, because they don't want to hide anymore. They want their fangs to come out. You understand? They want to let their fangs out. They want to let it all out. That's why you see all of those letters being added on to that upside down chakra. Check this out, y'all. I got this bracelet, right? I bought it the other day. This one with the carnelian. And I was like, the first one, I was like, because it got rainbow, it got colors that are different, right? Like different rainbow colors, because it represents the chakra. You know, and I'm in the streets wearing this shit. And I'm like, it's a shame that you can't even wear a chakra bracelet, or you can't even wear a chakra necklace, or you can't even wear anything with chakra colors on it, because you will probably welcome some unwelcome energy, or you may be seen, not that that means anything, or you may be mistaken. It's a you know, it's a humdinger to be mistaken for somebody that you're not, right? Mistaken identity is the cause for a lot of maladies. So I'm like, damn, bro, that's sad. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy that it's gotten to that in life. So yeah. Do I remember the TV show The Visitors? No. I don't think so. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. So I'm in New York City right now. You know, the energy out here is different from what it was about 2-3 weeks ago when I was out here. And I was saying that the energy was completely off, because that was the beginning of the Gotham City frequency. You know, I got out here and I wasn't on the same channel. Anybody that's from New York knows what I'm talking about. When you leave New York and you're coming back into New York, you might be on the Holland Tunnel, Lincoln Tunnel. You might be coming through Jersey. You might be flying over Rikers Island in LaGuardia. You might be coming into JFK. you connect to the channel and the frequency of the city, like your phone will connect to Dunkin' Donuts Wi-Fi or Starbucks Wi-Fi, right? Your phone will go online. It'll connect to a Wi-Fi if there's a signal out there. That's how New York is for real, true New Yorkers who are connected to their city like an energy source, because New York is our battery, right? New York is our source. New York is our battery. New York is our foundation. New York is the motherboard, right? It's where we plug in. It's where we tap in, right? It's where we go through different doors. It's our matrix. Those of us who are from it, we are it. New York is not, we're not from New York. We are New York. It ain't where you're from, it's where you're at. So if somebody lives in Texas and they never been to New York, and I live in New York and I went to Texas, did New York did they go to New York if they met me? Did they visit New York? You damn right they did, because I'm New York. You know what I'm talking about? Wherever I go, that's where I'm at. And I bring, the spirit or the state of, because people will be like, I'm not from no city, bro. I'm worldly, I'm galactical. Okay, I get it. When you show up, Saturn shows up. It is what it is, but I know my state of mind, right, is a state of mind that when I travel around the world and go to different places, that's a unique state of mind, because the state of Florida or the state of Delaware or the state of Connecticut or the state of Georgia, that's not the state of mind of the state of New York. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's why everybody is, so intrigued, so in awe, so thankful, so grateful, so appreciative of the multitude of voices, energies, frequencies, thought groups, schools of thought that are out there. There are students who can appreciate every single demonstration from every single channel, every single frequency, every single expression, because honestly, that's what it is that you'll see on YouTube or on the gram or on Twitter, where people are expressing themselves and they're teaching. I'm speaking mostly about the teaching, so we understand what I'm speaking of in case you're not following me. I'm speaking mostly about people that are doing the work, not just the teaching, the work, impacting. You do it any way you got to do it. As you can see, there's so many ways to skin this cat. On IG alone, you got Derek Grace, right? And I want to shout out all of my shifter brothers, right? Let me show you something real quick. 2 years ago to this day, and I mentioned it to Wesley Muhammad when he was on the show last night, that it was almost 2 years ago to last night that we was in Harlem, at the Sonnet Awards. Everybody was up there together on that stage rocking, and we was putting on that night, and here it goes 2 years later, and it took Facebook to remind us, because I didn't remember that. That wasn't on my agenda. I didn't plan that. It's the reminder, that Facebook reminder thing. And I think we should develop more apps like that, the reminder type of apps, because keep in mind, we're in the quickening right now. People are not remembering things. I don't remember a year ago like that. I got to be reminded of certain things because it's moving so fast. It's accelerated. So those reminders at Facebook are very important, and they've helped me stitch together a lot of my research and a lot of my, the knowing, not the thinking, not the speculating, the knowing that we're going through centrifugal time, cycles that you cannot manipulate, You don't have no control over. You gotta ride the wave. You gotta go with the cycle, Michael. You understand? You know what I'm talking about? You can't, I mean, you can't, I ain't gonna tell nobody what they can do. You can moonwalk it. You can moonwalk through that thing. You know what I'm talking about? If you got happy feet, you can moonwalk it through you can moonwalk through that bitch. Billie Jean is not your child. But for the average person, and that's 99.9% of y'all, we're in a cycle. Spin cycle. And there's nothing wrong with that. So look, 2 years ago at a cafe in Brooklyn, right? In a cafe in Brooklyn, BK to be exact. This is for the record books. If all of my historian buffs, if you're following, if you're going to ever write a book about the conscious community, or if you're ever going to write a book about the rise of the shifters, or if you're ever going to write a book about anything involving this historical day, because this is a historical day. This goes down in history. On July the 8th, 2018, we formed the Paradigm Shifters because we all met that day officially to make it official, because we were all, everybody was working on when we were going to get up, when we were going to announce it, when we were going to, you know, all link up and, you know, shift the paradigm, form Voltron, put our, you know, not just our differences, the fact that we didn't even know each other like that. Like we wasn't, everybody wasn't like kin. Everybody wasn't the best of friends. Everybody wasn't building and breaking bread with each other and stuff like that. But we understood what the future held. We knew what was coming down the pipeline. We understood what was around the corner. We understood what day, and we understood the power of the now. We were in the now. We were tapped into the now. And by tapping into the now, we were tapping into the tomorrow. So I already saw the God in all of these gods. I saw it in them, and I was able to see the God in me by seeing the God in them, right? Seeing more of the God, more of the potential, more of the, you know, it helped expand a vision that I was beginning to grow a little wary of, because I was not, you know, I was the vision of what I was seeing, where I was at. It wasn't a vision of the future that I wanted to continue to see. You dig? So when we started talking that leadership talk, when we started talking about that solution-based talk, when we started talking about that, not, you know, not moving with the ego, but moving with the we go, where I go, we go. When brothers started talking about holding each other accountable and stuff like that, when brothers talking about traveling, when brothers talking about building, when brothers talking about family, healing, and all of that, I'm like, you know what? It's that time to make things happen, because guess what? Nobody is perfect. And that's not the reason why we formed the Paradigm Shifters. It wasn't for perfection. You know what I mean? It was to seek perfection, to learn from our mistakes, to learn from each other, you know, and to walk our walk. And yeah, that's the day that it happened right there. And that's the picture, one of the first pictures that we took as the shifters, you know what I'm talking about? And then we would later link up in DC, right there in the Union Church, Willie Wilson's church, right? In Washington, D.C., a day before Louis Farrakhan was at the church, and we were there to see him live too. And all of the shifters came together that day. That's when all of the shifters came. All 9 of us formed, you know, and that was in D.C. That was in September. This was in July. So yeah, Derek Grace, Rizza Islam, Brother Ben X, 19 Keys, Red Pill, Blue Pillar. All right. So yeah, all of those brothers are doing their thing currently. So let's go through some news items now that we're here. Okay. So Kanye is red pilling the world right now. He's on his red pill energy. He's basically red pilling. He's a little bit getting back on his rants. So we're just going to sit and watch. He's disrupting the presidential race with the birthday party and taking away the black vote, and definitely giving people an option to just say a huge middle finger to the voting process, because ultimately that's what people who will be going with the Yeezy vote will be saying. Like, we know that it's a farce. We know that he's not going to win. We know all of this stuff, and we're still going to vote for him. You know why? Because we're not going to vote for you. Right? Christian Cooper says he doesn't want Amy Cooper charged, says he won't cooperate with the Manhattan DA. She's already paid a steep price. It's not enough of a deterrent to others. Bring her more misery just seems like piling on, right? Look at the rainbow. Taste the rainbow. So, you know, he's letting up. He don't want to bite. You know what I'm talking about? He don't want to bite. If a fart can get through, yeah, there you go. Come on now. You serious? So look at Vlad, right? Out of line, right? Out of line, right? Falsely out of line. They arrested the killers, right? Pop Smoke working from the ancestor realm, doing that magic, talking, I'm trying to tell you about the three kings. Pop Smoke doing that magic from the ancestor realm. Okay? Here goes Kanye trolling again, but he's speaking up for the, he's become an advocate. He's pro-life, right? He said that Planned Parenthood is doing the devil's work. That's the same thing that Angela Stanton came on the Breakfast Club and so expertly laid out to Angela Yee and the other people who are pro killing off our future, the Black Lives That Matter. This might be the most important story on the show tonight that took place. This is a day that I want everybody to put on their calendars as well. Today, the 9th, the Supreme Court basically awarded or gave, through treaties, through upholding the treaties, a large swath of eastern Oklahoma is upheld as a Native American reservation. Much of eastern Oklahoma, including Tulsa, is affirmed as native land for purposes of federal criminal law, the Supreme Court ruled on Thursday. The court ruled in favor of the Muskogee tribe, the Creek Nation, finding that federal courts cannot prosecute tribe members for crimes that take place on their native land, right? So their native land is Tulsa and other places, and they cannot be prosecuted by these people for what they do on their land. And the 5-4 opinion, Justice Neil Gorsuch joined the Supreme Court's 4 liberal members in reversing Oklahoma's prosecution of an enrolled member of the Creek tribe for crimes committed within the historical Creek boundaries. Supreme Court ruling hailed as sovereignty win. Many folks are in tears. Despite a history of many broken promises, as is true with many tribal nations, the citizens feel uplifted for once that the United States is being held to its promises. Creek Nation has a long history of working with its local, state, and federal partners to protect the interests of all people in its boundaries. Right? Where the Moors at? Supreme Court of the U.S. reaffirmed what we've always known. Treaties are the supreme law of the land. Remember, this opens up the floodgates. Okay? This is case law. This could be utilized to start forcing the treaties. In a 5-4 decision, the Supreme Court said Congress never explicitly disestablished the 1866 boundaries of the Muskogee tribe. This is a developing story. Stay tuned for updates. Okay? This is happening in 2020. Right? The Supreme Court of the United States rules 5-4 that Oklahoma does not have jurisdiction to prosecute a major crime involving an Indian within the historical boundaries of the Creek Indian Reservation in eastern Oklahoma. Oklahoma, in effect, just lost partial control over a large portion of its territory, including the city of Tulsa. The danger of thinking you have the upper hand and you can do as you please. The opinion means that the tribe, not the state, has the authority to prosecute crimes committed within the tribe's historical borders. Man, I'm going to play a little bit of this. RZA smoked this. For educational purposes. So yeah, I have something to say at the water cooler when they try to talk down. Hold on.
Family Brother Reads Islam. This video is regarding Deshaun Jackson and Adolf Hitler. One, whether that quote was or was not from Adolf Hitler, it's specified about black people being the true Jews. Are we not the true Jews, the true Hebrews? Number two, he absolutely was not mocking the Holocaust. Of course not. No one should mock the Holocaust, the murdering and the genocidal murder of anyone, including black people, even though America, you do it all the goddamn time. Three, the freedom of speech falls under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, correct? Four, I did not see in the Constitution where it said we have freedom of speech unless we're talking about topics dealing with Jewish people. Five, people don't want to bring up Adolf Hitler, but we are allowed to quote people who enslaved and owned and raped our people. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, Andrew Jackson, all founding fathers of America, but we can quote them freely. Six, very interesting to me that they say 6 million Jews died and 5 million others. Who are the others that are not that important enough for you to mention? Number one. And number two, how is it that the Holocaust lasted between 12 to 15 years? Those people died, but our Holocaust never ended. Over 100 million of us died, and Israel continues to get reparations to this very day to the tunes of tens of billions of dollars from America, but black people have yet to receive reparations. And you're acting as if you give a damn about black people right now? Yes, Jewish people receive tens of billions of dollars every single year from America due to the Holocaust that happened all the way in Nazi Germany that lasted between 12 to 15 years. But again, America, you don't give black people our reparations. And it's very interesting to me that Jewish groups and Jewish people try to make it seem as though you give a damn about black people, when you know we have more of a right to receive reparations because our Holocaust actually happened here and it has never ended. It's still happening now. So if you actually care about black people, how about you push? Here's a challenge for all the Jewish groups. Push for black people to receive reparations the same way you receive them every single year from America. That's how you can demonstrate that you actually care about us, because you want everyone to care about you all the time. It is horrible what happened under Adolf Hitler. There were black people who were in that Holocaust as well. So absolutely, it over 23,000 black people who were there at that time in Nazi Germany who were forcefully sterilized and or murdered. And by the way, the sterilization programs that Adolf Hitler learned, he learned those from California. He learned those sterilization programs from America because of what America was doing to black people under the American Eugenics Society. Do you understand that Adolf Hitler learned a lot of what he learned from what white people were doing to black people? Oh, to the Jewish groups, yet again, why is it that you don't push for black people to receive reparations like you do? Why is it that you don't push for us to receive justice like you do? You see your high level of power and influence where media is concerned, and the music and film industry, and the banking system, and politics. You have all that power and all of that influence, but you don't push to have black people to receive justice, even though when someone says anything that you feel criticizes you, you want the whole world to shut down and show sympathy for you, which wouldn't be a problem. Definitely wouldn't be a problem at all. We would just like for you to do the same, seeing how we lost far more, seeing how it never ended, seeing how we've never received reparations. Let's be just and fair and equitable. Why don't you push for America and the world to show sympathy for black people and for us to receive justice the same way you did? Women are still missing to the tune of over 75,000 right now. Black people are being murdered.
All right, I'm going to end that right there. Go check that out on my page. All right, brothers going in. You know, whenever somebody goes in, if it resonates, I'm going to post it. So, yeah. Yeah, so, you know, big things is going on, you know. Everybody got a part to play. You know, you got to play it. But back to what I was saying about New York City, I don't want to get off of I don't want to finish closing it out. New York right now, it feels different, you know. It feels different than how it felt a few weeks ago. I witnessed today that there is definitely a mental health crisis. I mean, it already was one, but it's expanded, you know. It's expanded. It's like it's all over Harlem, you know, and that's not a good thing, you know. The vendors are out, so the stores are beginning to reopen. So, you know, the energy is coming back in the flow of people, but it is what it is, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Convergence 2020. Y'all tapped into that, right? Yeah. Shout out to everybody that's tapped into the convergence. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to everybody that's tapped in, that's benefiting off of that, that's going in on that, that's having their meditations enhanced and increased. You know, we're gonna hop on before it's over. I will that to make. I'm willing that to happen. We're gonna hop on, and we're gonna push some energy into with the red and the blue star. You dig? We're gonna pop up with the red and the blue star Kachina talk. So, yeah, but yeah, we're gonna end this tonight, kind of early. You know, got a lot of work to do, as you may already know. I'm doing orders, finishing up music. I'm doing a lot of things at once. You did. All of the people who emailed me about, information that I have pertaining to help you out with some kind of loans that they got out here, because the government is definitely coming to the assistance of the citizens, monetarily, that is. I'm gonna get, yeah, we got a lot of emails, so we're getting back to people because it's not a simple thing. You know what I mean? It's definitely not a simple thing. So just got you. All right. I want to let y'all know that on the 23rd, which is a Thursday, I'm going to be doing the KTL Third Eye Thursday class, right? It's going to be entitled Conscious Industry 2020. Somebody heard that and they disagreed with the fact that they said that they felt that I shouldn't be saying conscious industry, or I shouldn't be teaching about it. I don't know what they were saying, but let me just say this, right? Let me just preference the fact that everything that I'm wearing, I'm talking about everything from the rings to the warrior cuffs, right? To these beads, to the jewelry around my neck, to the clothing that I got on, to the glasses on my face. That don't come from the hands of nobody but us. And it's not coming all from me. I'm a walking collection. You know what I'm talking about? This is a collection of artwork. This is a collection of artistry, handcrafted. This shit is not thrown together. You know what I'm talking about? This is different kind of drip. You know what I'm talking about? This shit is not just thrown together. Yeah, talk black to me. And they all have purpose. It's a story behind everything. You know what I mean? Like all of this is us. And you comfortable just sitting back watching Europeans sell Brazilian and North American or North American and Caribbean precious gemstones that they have no high, they're not attached to that land. They don't have no right to that land. They're not a part of that treaty, bro. So all of these mines and whatnot that they be excavating in Arkansas and Texas and in Georgia and whatnot, all of these places that they're pillaging, that land is indigenous. A lot of that land is protected by treaty, and there's people with last names who have ownership rights. If they would only step forward and go through the fire, because you already know it's going to be a fire. You should know that from the gate. Anticipate fire, right? And prepare for rain when you go into these situations. But if you can make it through that thing, then none the wiser. Meet you at the platinum party. You're gonna have you're gonna have what you needed. So yeah. So on Thursday, I'm going to be doing the conscious industry. And the conscious industry is celebrating the artisans amongst us. It's celebrating the creatives amongst us. It's celebrating the brands amongst us. It's celebrating those who are essential amongst us. It's celebrating the fact that people believed in themselves and they went forward and they started with one product, and now they out there with 10 products. Man, successful, big following, big bank. You know what I'm talking about? People who shot movies, people who starred in movies. All of these things will be spoken about. Conscious industry. Brothers with tattoos on their face. Derek Grace making video games. Conscious industry. All of the authors that we already have that are conscious community teachers. I'm not talking about woke, because there's a lot of woke authors like Charlemagne and some other people. I'm saying in the conscious industry, our authors would be the ISIS Papers, Dr. Francis Cress, Professor Griff with his books, right? Everything that Dr. Phil wrote, conscious industry. The DVD collection, conscious industry. That's a cash shake. That's worth $1 billion and change. Conscious industry. Kings County clothing line, conscious industry. Pharaonic clothing line, conscious industry. You understand? You get the point? You know, and when you identify certain things in your industry and you put forth the formulas and the plans how to tap into said energy and make more out of it, then, you know, if that's what you into, if that's speaking your language, we'll hit the link in the description and get your ticket. And I'll see you next Wednesday. We're going to be going in. This is going to be cloth talk, dealing with, you know, a lot of things, a whole lot of things. So don't think that I'm going to just stick on one subject. But, and then right after that, that's on a Thursday. I believe on a Saturday or a Sunday in Atlanta, Blue Pill and AA Rashid, they're going all the way in. Super metaphysical, super occult. All right, go to Eventbrite and you'll see both of the, if you put in Red Pillar, or if you put in the titles of the ones that I just named. What was that? The Conscious Industry 2020, right? And once you find out, you'll find Blue Pill and AAs. I believe theirs is Hyper Time, right? Yes, Heru is doing conscious clothing. Heru, the Heru Supreme, he's the brother who is doing the onks on the shirts. He's been bodying it. Netter 360, NTR 360s. You know what I mean? There's mad people. The brother with the RBG sneakers, TH3RD, I believe, he's been killing it. Like, it's so many brands. We're gonna cover all of that. And we're going to speak about equity. We're going to speak about social entrepreneurship. We're going to get into all of that. So go get your ticket. All right. Be in the building and tap it. You feel me? And then in Atlanta with Blue and AA, be there physically in the building. I more than likely, I'll be out there with the merch. You know, I'll be with the merch and I'll be doing other things. But pull up. All right. So I'm tapping out. I will see y'all on Melanin Monday. Love and light to the family. Let me leave a cash app in case anybody's feeling, you know, like they want to leave a tip at the table. For the lectures, people have been asking me a lot about the lectures that we've been doing, especially the one that I did in Houston with Pop Darby. From brick and mortar to click and order. They've been asking about that. And they've been asking about Fear of a Black and More Messiahs. And they've been asking about the one I did with Professor Griff, Supernova, which was Fear of a Black Planet 2020. So hit me up, you know, hit me up and let me know what it is. And like I said, we'll make it happen. All right. But I'm out of here, y'all. Love and light to the family.